OG3 just got put on blast for allegedly leaving Ben 10 in a life or death situation, and his response, it has the whole internet looking at him sideways. No denial, no clear story, not even a real excuse. Instead, he came out and said, being a leader is not easy. That's it. Meanwhile, your guy's in the hospital fighting to breathe, doctors working overtime to bring him back, and you're talking like you're running a boardroom meeting at some big corporation. Now, music, that didn't sit right at all. NBA YoungBoy saw that and went straight at OG3 with zero hesitation. No soft talk, no coded messages. He called him out by name, saying he left Ben 10 laid out and ran off. And the streets, they've been watching, waiting. Music, ready for this exact moment, because this situation isn't just about one night. It's about loyalty, reputation, and who really stands tall when things get ugly. This runs deeper than a single incident. It's about who's real and who's just talking. It's about a man named Ben 10 who nearly lost everything while someone who was supposed to have his back wasn't there. And the full story, it's not what the headlines are giving you. So yeah, we're breaking this all the way down. Every layer, every detail, every piece that actually matters. Before getting into the confrontation and the viral reactions, you need to understand the people involved and why this hits so hard. Let's start with Ben 10. He's not just some random name tied to NBA YoungBoy. This is one of his closest day one people. Someone who's been there since the early grind in Baton Rouge. Not a background face, not just showing up for clout. This is someone who earned his place. Ben 10 is the kind of person people point to when they say real recognize real. He's been through the chaos, the legal issues, the highs and lows that come with being close to a major name in hip-hop. His loyalty wasn't loud, it was consistent. And that matters because when something happens to someone like that, the people around him are expected to move the same way. That's the code. That's what separates solid individuals from people just tagging along for the ride. Now, let's talk about OG3. The title, music, OG, is supposed to mean something serious. It's not just a nickname, it's a claim of experience, leadership, and responsibility. It tells people you've been through enough to guide others when things go left. OG3 carried himself like that figure in YoungBoy's circle. He was around, present in key moments, part of the environment surrounding one of the most talked about artists in the game. When you wear that title, you're saying you're dependable under pressure. You're saying people can count on you when it matters most. Then there's NBA YoungBoy himself. He's more than just an artist, he's a whole movement out of Baton Rouge. His career has been raw, his life even more raw, dealing with serious legal battles, constant scrutiny, and nonstop pressure. Through all of it, the one thing his supporters stand on is this: he keeps it real. He doesn't fake loyalty, and he doesn't stay quiet when something crosses the line. So when he publicly calls someone out, especially someone from his own circle, that's not random. That's him standing on what he believes is right and refusing to let it slide. Now, here's where things take a serious turn. Ben 10 ends up in a violent situation. This wasn't minor, not exaggerated, not social media hype. This was real. He ended up in critical condition in the hospital. Doctors literally working to bring him back. That's how bad it got. And right away, one question started spreading everywhere. Where was OG3 during all this? What happened in those key moments when things went left? According to what started circulating, and it spread fast, OG3 was either there or close by when everything went down. But instead of standing firm, instead of stepping up the way an OG is supposed to, the word is he ran. Not to get help, not to regroup, just gone. That's how people described it, and that narrative stuck because it came from voices people trust in those circles. So while Ben 10 is fighting for his life, OG3 is nowhere to be found. Think about that. Someone you're supposed to stand next to is on a hospital table, and you're absent when it counts the most. That's not just breaking street code. That's breaking basic loyalty. And once that kind of story gets out, there's no easy fix, no quick statement, no vague explanation can clean that up. People recognize what pressure reveals, and what this situation showed had everyone questioning OG3's title. Now, here's the wild part. Most people in YoungBoy's position might have handled this quietly, kept it behind closed doors, avoided making it a public music. But that's not what happened. YoungBoy stepped out and addressed it directly. No guessing, no hints. He made it clear who he was talking about and what he believed happened. He said OG3 left Ben 10 and ran. Simple and direct. That move speaks volumes. First, YoungBoy doesn't just throw words around. He understands the weight behind accusations like that. So when he speaks, it's coming from somewhere real. Whether that's first-hand info or trusted sources. Second, this was him drawing a line publicly. He basically said, this person is not who they claim to be anymore. That OG respect, gone. And anyone still defending that image needs to rethink everything. And third, this part matters the most. This was about Ben 10. This was loyalty in action. While Ben 10 is recovering from something life-threatening, YoungBoy is making sure nobody forgets what happened or who wasn't there. That's the energy he's putting out. That's the standard he's showing people. Now, let's get to OG3's response because this is where everything really exploded. When someone with YoungBoy's influence calls you out like that, you've got a few options. You can stay quiet and let things cool off. You can come with proof, receipts, witnesses, something solid to defend yourself. Or, if you can try to dodge the situation with vague talk that sounds deep but says nothing. OG3 chose that last option. Being a leader is not easy. That's what he said. That's the message he put out after all those accusations. No breakdown, no clarity, no direct response to what people were actually asking. And that right there, that's why the internet went wild. Let's break down why that response might be the worst thing he could have said, because some people hear being a leader is not easy and think music, at least he spoke up. Nah, that's actually worse than staying quiet. Way worse. First off, saying that line means he's accepting the leader role. He's not denying anything. He didn't say, music, I wasn't there, or that's not what happened. Instead, he basically admitted he had responsibility in that moment, and his excuse, leadership is hard. That's not a defense. That's a confession dressed up like a quote you'd see on social media. Second, and this is what really had people losing it, that statement doesn't address a single accusation. YoungBoy said you ran. He said you left Ben 10. And OG3 didn't say, I didn't run. He didn't say, I stayed. Music, he didn't explain anything. He just dropped a vague line, like it clears everything up. Like that somehow answers what people are asking. That's why people were looking at him crazy. Because that kind of response feels like dodging. Like trying to sound deep instead of being real. Nobody's buying that in a moment this serious. Third, the streets read that response is straight guilt. Not maybe, not possibly guilt. When someone gets hit with a direct accusation and they respond with something general and philosophical, people already know what that means. That's an old move. Talk around the issue, avoid specifics, hope things get blurry, but that doesn't work on people who are used to reading between the lines. That kind of awareness comes from real experience, and the second that response dropped, the internet lit up, but not in a good way. People everywhere were reacting. Not impressed, not inspired, more like, did he really just say that? Even people who don't follow this scene could tell something was off. It's time to like someone trying to slide past accountability with a one-liner. And when YoungBoy saw that response, yeah, he wasn't going for that at all. Now, here's where things get deeper than just OG3, music versus Ben 10. If you zoom out and look at everything around YoungBoy's circle over the years, this doesn't even feel random. It feels like something that was bound to happen. YoungBoy's success is massive. Numbers, influence, fan base, it's all there. But with that level comes a certain type of attention. People get drawn in, some are genuine, and some are there for what comes with it. And the hard part, telling the difference. Because the ones who aren't real can act real for a long time. They blend in perfectly until a situation pops up where being real actually costs something. That's when everything changes. OG3 built his image as that solid figure. The experienced one, the leader. He wore that identity confidently and people believed it. Music, he got respect off that title. But here's the truth everybody already knows. Titles don't prove anything. You don't become real just because you say you are. It's about what you do when things go bad, when there's real pressure, when staying means risk and leaving means safety. That's the moment that shows everything. Music, and in Ben 10's situation, that was the test. And according to what's being said, OG3 failed it completely. Music, now think about the ripple effect of that. If he really moved like that in a moment like this, what does that say about everything else he's claimed? Every time he spoke like a leader, every time people trusted his word, every time he gave advice, it all gets questioned now. Because loyalty isn't something you can switch on and off. You can't be halfway solid. The moment you fold under real pressure, everything before that starts to look different. And YoungBoy clearly understands that. That's why he didn't just call out the situation. He went after the whole identity. The OG title, the leadership image, all of it. Because letting someone keep that image after something like this, that messes things up for everybody else who's actually solid. Now, let's talk about what happens after all this. Because the call-out isn't the end. It's the start of something new. Think about Ben 10 for a second. This isn't just a story for the internet. This is real life. He went through something serious, ending up in a situation where he had to be revived. That kind of experience doesn't just disappear. The physical recovery is one thing, but mentally, that stays with you. Especially knowing someone you trusted wasn't there the way they should have been. That part hits different. So when YoungBoy speaks out like this, it's not just about exposing what happened. It's also about standing up for Ben 10 in a real way. It's him saying you're not alone in this. Music, what happened matters, and the person who didn't show up isn't just going to act like everything's normal. That kind of support goes beyond anything material. Meanwhile, OG3's response might have done more damage than anything else he could have said. Because now the narrative feels locked in. He can't easily come back and say he was misunderstood. His own words are what people are holding on to. He didn't deny anything. He didn't clarify anything. He just avoided it. And people notice that immediately. Usually in a situation like this, things go one of two ways. Either the person doubles down and things get even messier, or they go quiet and let their reputation take the hit. But either way, that OG label, it doesn't carry the same weight anymore. People aren't going to look at him the same. The respect tied to that title starts fading fast. And for the rest of the circle, this moment changes things too. Whenever something like this happens, it makes everyone look around and think, who's really been tested? Who's actually shown up when it mattered? And who's just been playing a role this whole time? Because in the end, pressure reveals everything. And not everyone passes that test. The standard that he sets for himself and for everyone around him is high. So when somebody in that circle completely drops the ball like this, the response is exactly what you saw. No silence, no soft excuses, just straight public accountability. Now zoom out for a second, because this situation with YoungBoy, OG3, and Ben 10 isn't happening in isolation. This is part of a bigger conversation that's been going on in hip-hop forever. Loyalty, authenticity, and what it really means to be solid. That OG title, it's not just a name you throw around, it carries serious weight. When someone is called an OG, they're claiming experience, respect, and responsibility. They're saying they've been through enough to guide others and stand firm when things get real. You become a key piece in the structure of your circle, someone people depend on. So when an OG folds under pressure, it doesn't just hurt one relationship, it shakes everything. Because the trust people placed in that role wasn't casual, it was deep. And trust like that, once it breaks, it never comes back the same. You might rebuild something, you might move forward, but that original belief that someone will stand with you no matter what, that part is gone for good. That's why YoungBoy's reaction hits beyond just the situation. He's setting a public standard. He's showing everyone watching that this kind of behavior gets called out, not covered up. And no quote about leadership is going to replace actually being there when it matters. That message travels far. Music, way beyond Baton Rouge, way beyond his fan base. Because at the core of all this is the question everybody understands. Who's really there when things go left? The names might change, the situations might look different, but the truth stays the same. Pressure exposes everything, every single time. And notice what YoungBoy really targeted here. Not just the action, but the identity. He didn't let OG3 hide behind that OG label after this. He went straight at it. Because there's a big difference between claiming a role and actually living it. Some people talk like leaders all day, but when it's time to act, they disappear. And the culture has seen this before, over and over. People build entire reputations around being solid, being real, standing on codes, and then one moment shows the truth. You can't fake those moments. When pressure hits, the mask comes off. And once it does, everything changes. So where does everything stand now? Ben 10 is recovering. That's the most important part. After everything he went through, he's still here and working his way back. And he knows the people closest to him didn't stay silent when it mattered. That counts for something. Real. OG3, on the other hand, is stuck with that response. Being a leader is not easy. It's already following him everywhere. It's turned into a phrase people use when someone avoids accountability. Whether he speaks again music or disappears for a while, that first response already shaped how people see him. And YoungBoy, he keeps moving. That's what he does. He speaks on what needs to be said, makes it clear, and keeps going. The music doesn't stop. The circle gets tighter. The people who prove themselves stay close, and the ones who don't get left behind. And the culture is watching all of it. Because moments like this teach people something. They show that loyalty isn't just words, it's action. It's what you do when things get hard, when it costs you something, when the easy option is to walk away. That's where the real ones stand out. YoungBoy has always moved like that. Ben 10 showed it over time. And OG3 just showed everyone exactly where he stands. Now I need to hear from you. Do you think OG3 can recover from this? Is there anything he could say now that would actually change how people see it? Or is this already locked in? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share if you want more breakdowns like this. No sugarcoating, no distractions, just the full story every time.